Today's story is one you've likely heard of. It begins in New Hampshire, where Rachel Morin was born on May 20, 1986. 37 years later, Rachel's body was found brutally assaulted and murdered. A manhunt was underway. Rachel was the daughter of Patty Morin and Ronald Morin. She was one of 6 children, having 1 sister and 4 brothers. Rachel grew up in Dover in a population of around 33,000, which, based on the size of New Hampshire, is the 5th most populous city in the state. Eventually, Rachel found herself living in Bel Air, Maryland. She doted on her children and had an entrepreneurial mindset. She owned her own cleaning business, which allowed her to spend time with her children and their many activities. They were aged from 8 to 18 years old. There was a lot of running to do. But that wasn't the only thing that Rachel loved. She became immersed in fitness and lifting weights. She loved tanning and fashion and even participated in 5K marathons. Rachel began dating her boyfriend, Richard Tobin, who also owned his own business, on August 1st, 2023. 4 days later, on August 5, 2023, at around 6 p.m., Rachel left home to go on her usual jog on the Ma and Pa walking trail. This trail is a common trail in Bel Air that runs about 6 miles, part of it leading directly through the city. 5.5 hours later, when Rachel didn't return and he had depleted all possible clues of where she could have gone, Richard called authorities and reported her as missing at 11 p.m. that same day. Police launched a search, scouring the area to find her. The next day, Rachel's car was found at the entrance of the walking trail. Later, the Harford County Sheriff's Office held a press conference to tell the community that they had found a deceased woman near where Rachel was last known to have been. After confirmation from the medical examiner that the body found was, in fact, that of Rachel Morin, the internet immediately pointed fingers at Richard. People couldn't get past him posting that he was in a relationship with Rachel on August 1st and she was missing 4 days later. This prompted Richard to post on Facebook to please let him grieve. For the record, Tobin was questioned and ruled out by detectives. Oddly, yet maybe not so oddly, a man by the name of Michael Gabricheski claimed that he and his stepdaughter found Rachel's body. He would go on to appear on multiple news outlets. Ultimately, during a press conference, authorities asked the community and news outlets to not offer him any more notoriety, that he had no firsthand knowledge of the finding of Rachel's body, and that his claims were causing issues with the investigation. Another thing that seemed odd to the community was that law enforcement opened the area of the murder back up to the public, causing people to wonder if this was a targeted attack, as the community feared there was a random attacker on the loose. It seemed so premature if, in fact, there was danger in the area. The community was on edge. The case had so much notoriety that Dog the Bounty Hunter was even involved. A GoFundMe page was set up by Rachel's sister, Rebecca, that raised more than $48,000. The post noted that any funds remaining from her funeral would go toward her children. 10 detectives were assigned to Rachel's case, and along with forensic investigators and crime analysts, they were working around the clock to piece together the moments leading up to her death. On August 17, authorities told reporters that DNA found at the crime scene had been analyzed by Maryland State Police and entered into the CODIS database, where it matched evidence collected from an unsolved home invasion and attempted assault in March of 2023 in Los Angeles. The suspect in this case was seen on a doorbell camera leaving the home he unlawfully entered to commit his horrific crime, and that footage went viral. Authorities felt that this was a random act of violence and that Rachel likely did not know the suspect. They told citizens to be on the lookout for this individual and be mindful of their surroundings. They didn't know if he was still in the area. The entire country was on edge because of the assault and home invasion in LA. Where else had he been, and what other crimes had he committed or would he commit in the thousands of miles between LA and Maryland? 6 months later, after 100 interviews conducted by detectives and over 1,000 tips followed up on, the sheriff's office released a sketch of the suspect. They indicated that though there was no indication that Rachel was specifically targeted, they believed the suspect scouted the trail with intentions of committing a crime there. Commercial ads created by Rachel's family's attorneys were shown all along border cities, prompting concerns that this person had entered the U.S. illegally among the millions of immigrants flooding the country.
Rachel Morin was my daughter. She was a mother to 5 children. She's a sister. Somebody just grabbed her and took her. If he's willing to kill a perfect stranger, he's willing to kill anybody. If you know this person, turn him in.
Let's do this. Let's catch this guy and bring peace to Rachel Morin's family. For more information, visit the website below.
Though an image of the suspect was available, because of his unlawful entry, they had no idea who he was or where he was. Hence the concern with so many coming into the country. On May 20, 2024, on what would have been Rachel's 38th birthday, investigators received information that led them to El Salvador. They were able to confirm the DNA match to a 5'9" Hispanic male weighing approximately 160 pounds. His family graciously offered some of his clothing items to the detectives for testing. On June 15, 2024, the Harford County Sheriff's Department held a press conference telling America that after 10 months, the suspect had been arrested and he did, in fact, enter the U.S. illegally. Rachel's mom joined the conference, praising the department for their hard work.
I just want to take this time to thank all of the law enforcement for all their hard work. I know that a lot of times we don't see what goes on behind the scenes. You know, you see the policeman in the car when you write you a ticket, but you don't see the real work that happens behind. And I could see all the people that were involved. And that's not even all the external agencies that were involved. And it just gave me such hope that they really did care about our family and my daughter, that they were going to work diligently to find the person that her.
Christy said, I'm Harford County Sheriff Jeff Gaylor. As everyone's aware, on August 6, 2023, our peaceful Harford County community was rocked when the body of Rachel Morin was discovered in an area just about a mile from here, just off the Ma and Pa hiking trail here just outside the town of Bel Air. In addition to the impact to our local Harford County community, Rachel's murder gained national and even international attention. The young mother of 5, whose life was violently taken in a public location, is one of the safest places in the state. It's not supposed to happen, and it shouldn't have happened. In the days and months since Rachel was murdered, Rachel's family and friends, our Harford County community, and the men and women of the Harford County Sheriff's Office, along with all of our allied partners, have worked tirelessly to bring the individual responsible for her death to justice. Our deputies and our partners have worked this case with persistence and passion for Rachel and for her family every day over the past 10 months. Just over 3 weeks ago, on May 20th, on what should have been Rachel's 38th birthday, and in a poetic coincidence, or perhaps in Rachel's own divine assistance, our investigators uncovered a lead that led us to this day. And on this day, I'm here to tell you, Rachel's is no longer a free man.
The country erupted in anger. How many lives would be taken until we would not let people flood the border with no way of identifying them? This particular dynamic is what makes these criminals illegally entering through the border much more dangerous than crimes committed by Americans. We can identify Americans. Victor Martinez Hernandez was arrested in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and charged with first-degree and first-degree. He is 23 years old. He was located at a bar and placed under arrest. He initially lied about his identity and any knowledge of the crime. However, to clear up any misconceptions about why he entered the U.S., it was learned that Hernandez was wanted in El Salvador for brutally murdering a young woman in January 2023. That's 2 months before the home invasion and attempted assault on a 9-year-old and her mother in L.A., and 7 months before he left his DNA with Rachel's lifeless body. It was learned from the search warrant that he hid, waiting to attack Rachel. His first court appearance was on June 21, 2024. He is being held without bail, determined to be a danger to society and a flight risk. His trial date is set for October 23, 2024, and prosecutors are seeking a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Rachel's brother Michael attended the RNC convention in July.
Brother of Rachel Morin. We lost my beloved sister Rachel. She went for a walk in one of our family's favorite places. This beautiful trail was to us a safe place where we pushed our babies in strollers, where we walked together as a family, where my wife and I got married, near what would later become the spot where my sister's body was found. Rachel, a joyful, accomplished athlete and mother of 5, was and by a suspected illegal immigrant. This was described as among the most brutal and violent offenses that has ever occurred in Harford County, Maryland history. Open borders are often portrayed as compassionate and virtuous. But there is nothing compassionate about allowing violent criminals into our country and robbing children of their mother. My sister's death was preventable. The monster arrested for killing Rachel entered the U.S. unlawfully after killing a woman in El Salvador. Joe Biden and his designated border czar, Kamala Harris, opened our borders to him and others like him, empowering them to victimize the innocent. Yet, to this day, we have not heard from Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. They never apologized. But when Rachel was killed, President Trump called my family to offer his condolences. He wanted to meet with us. He cared. That is leadership. And we need real leadership back in the White House. What has gotten us through this unthinkable loss is our faith in Jesus Christ. And as brutal as the of my sister was, I pray that her killer will find Jesus Christ. For all the affected by senseless tragedy, I pray for peace, knowing that all things work together for good, to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. I pray that we hold worldly leaders accountable for safety and justice, for innocent people. I pray that we make our country safe and secure in the memory of my sister Rachel, who loved life. Thank you. God bless America. Good night.
There is much more that we will learn as this trial gets underway. Be sure to stop back by for updates. Unfortunately, tragedies like this are becoming more and more frequent. I learned in researching this case that Rachel's daughter is due to have her own baby this year. Rachel won't be able to hold her first grandchild. If your first thought is that we have plenty of American criminals, why is she covering this? Please check yourself. Rachel would have a life if not for an illegal immigrant. Jocelyn Nungare would have a life. Molly Tibbetts, Lisbeth Medina, Jocelyn Tokiza, just to name a small few. Please don't try to minimize and diminish the roles these women played in the lives of their loved ones to suit your narrative. Stay safe, people.